We're in Colorado on 420.
Colorado 420 at a ski mountain. I mean, it doesn't get more fucking. It's gonna get crazy.
How about you tell us about your decaf espresso you made for Mrs. Jennifer Lopez?
Oh yeah, don't quote me on this. I'm not a scientist, but if he's on a first date and some girl actually comes up to him and says, "Hey, I think you're cute," goddamn, take her number. Which, by the way, if you have a Louis Vuitton bag and you're riding the subway, I mean, what are you doing?
Ethiopia has the best coffee.
All right, welcome guys to the No Edits number 4 podcast.
Ooh.
We're here in Vail, Colorado.
Nice.
Après-Ski, a little beer.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Just finished a insane ski day. It was a tough one.
Yep, big ski day. A little slushy out there actually, but pretty good at the top. Pretty good up there, and
So this is we went to Taos 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. We talked about it on the No Edits 3.
Yeah.
And we actually planned this trip, and we told Zane to come, but Zane didn't come, so
couldn't make it. So we're doing it without you, Zane.
Yep.
Wish you were here, buddy. There's an empty chair over there that we just have for you, but you're not here.
So this is basically our trip, and too bad Zane's not here.
Yeah.
He was offered, didn't come. We're having a great time in this 4-star hotel. Nice scenery in the back. We can see the mountains.
Yeah.
And
as you can see, we're in our gear. We just got off the slopes.
And now we're just having some beers.
Yeah. So Vail, we went to Taos and Santa Fe for if you remember from the last podcast. It's really cute. It's a little smaller mountain for sure, but similar. I mean, any ski resort has really, really nice ski villages and little restaurants, little cafes and stuff like that. But the mountain here is definitely more for beginners, I would say. It's got crazy hills, but
it's got a lot of shit.
It's got a lot of hills, but
I don't know. So the bottom of the bowl, well, not the bowl actually. So there's the bowl, which is actually the more professional or experienced side. And then the front side has a lot of greens. I think it has more blues, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And then the back is just full of black diamonds and blues.
True. I didn't really go to the black at the back.
There's a lot for a lot for everybody.
So it was my first time doing ski lessons today. Yeah. Last time I wiped out a couple times and I was not feeling too confident on the slopes. So I said, let me for sure get classes before I hit the slopes again. But it was a really good experience. Met some cool people, had a really cool trainer who's definitely a local and knows a lot about the mountains and the city here. But he taught me some really good technique that I'm now applying, and I'm officially a better skier than Jose.
I don't think so.
I am. No wipeouts today, everyone.
No wipeouts, but you're not trying. You're not trying hard, you know?
What do you mean I'm not trying hard?
You're not trying hard. I can still ski down faster than you.
Faster doesn't mean shit. You can ski fast, but are you skiing well? And if you ski fast and you wipe out, who's better?
I didn't wipe out. I didn't wipe out today on anything that was because I was going too fast.
Okay.
Again, I did the bowls. I did the bowl, and it looked like a blue, but actually the bowl has way more powder, so it's a lot harder to ski on because you're, it's really thick, and you gotta let gravity take you.
Yeah.
So I wasn't, I'm not good. I don't have that experience,
no, of course.
And so that really drained me. And then the time that I wiped out in front of you, that was just pure, bad luck. I wasn't even doing anything special. My ski just got caught on something, and then I fell.
What I learned today was just little techniques and stuff to help me from avoid to be honest, panic. I think once you learn these little techniques, you can kind of maneuver things. So for example, we were going down a hill today and there was a lot of chunks of snow. And this one girl was like, how do I avoid getting caught in the snow? And he's like, the littlest tip was when you see those chunks, you have to go through them. Don't try to turn into the chunk. You're going to wipe out. Go through the chunk, and then when you have a clearing is when you're going to turn. So it's little things like that you might not think about because you're so new, but it's just little tips like that is what would help you, right? From not.
That's interesting because usually what I try to do is especially when there's moguls, I try to turn into where you're gonna kind of have the
crevice.
Yeah, so if the crevice is like this, then I'm gonna ski to the. All right, and we're back. Just some technical difficulties with the camera. It seems like we haven't been able to get a single episode without some technical difficulties, but we'll make do and do some edits.
Carry on.
But yeah, we were talking about skiing and
you were talking about the bowl.
The bowl, yeah. So we were talking about how you kind of turn left into something. Anyways, but that's good advice. I think a lot of what goes on with skiing, and like I said before, is that you're just nervous, you're scared, you're going fast, and then you don't trust your abilities, and that's when things can happen. So in that case, when you see a big like mound in the snow, your first instinct is to I gotta stop. Yeah. I gotta slow down. I can't hit that full on. When actually you can hit that full on and then make the adjustment.
Because that's what he gave us an example. He saw like a chunk of snow and the skis went right through it and they glided right over it. And in your head, like as a newbie, you're kind of like, oh my God, a big chunk of snow, like, right? You get scared of it, but your skis will go right over it. So yeah, so it was a good experience. I met some really cool people too as well. And I'll definitely take more classes. There's more like experience classes eventually, and I'll move up. I think it really does help. But yeah, I had a good day of skiing. My legs are sore.
Yeah, and then we have another day tomorrow, so we got to get ready for that. We're gonna hit the hot tub after.
Yeah.
And prepare.
Yeah.
But so yesterday, the reason you're even in Denver, we're in Vail now, but Denver yesterday, is because you got booked for a runway show.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that, because we actually haven't talked about it.
Yeah.
Saved it for the podcast.
Jose literally said, "Don't tell me anything."
Yeah, we have to save it for the podcast. So tell me how to go, and I know you're really eager to.
So to give a little background, there is a brand called Another Tomorrow, and which I found out at the show. It was their first official runway show ever. And this brand is just kind of up and coming. It's actually really cool. I did some research. Another Tomorrow, their brand is based kind of like on a lot about sustainability, but like they kind of say like we're gonna focus on the 3 pillars. So I was doing some research on it, and the 3 pillars are: how does the fashion industry affect humans, animals, and our environment? So those are the 3 pillars, and it's like their focus is how can we be sustainable and think about how they affect those things. But either way, really, really beautiful clothing brand, which honestly, like, I mean, their website is amazing, but like seeing the clothes in person and actually getting to wear it was insane. But honestly, the show went so good. Designer was amazing. She's beautiful. The host, Max, as well. And it's a great guy. And he does this every year, but with different designers. So this year it just happened to be with Another Tomorrow. It was a beautiful venue in Denver. It was basically like, apparently these really wealthy people, they own kind of like a little mini industrial building, but they converted the entire top floor into a penthouse suite / art gallery, and they rent out the bottom for venues and such as like runway shows. And so it was a really nice venue. So basically, I did a fitting for the show on Thursday, and then Friday we did basically the runway show. So we had to be there at 3:30, and we didn't actually walk in the show until 8:30. And I'm like really new to this, so I didn't realize how long it takes to actually get ready. Like we did 2 hours of walking prep. So basically you put, like, can I just like say this because I'm really happy about it and proud about it, but I got to walk in Balenciaga heels and they were really nice. But really high.
I saw one of the pictures. It said like white dress in Balenciaga.
Yeah.
That's pretty big,
Yeah, Balenciaga. So basically the clothing is all the designers, but the accessories were, designer bags, designer shoes, and jewelry and such. But basically, so we did 2 hours of walking practice. So basically, you put the heels on, and like literally you'll walk through the entire venue like how we would for the show, and they kind of critique you a little, like, okay, they'll tell you like certain styles, we want you to be bold and serious, or we want you to be slow and sexy. Like they tell you what they want, so they kind of critique you for about 2 hours until they're like, okay, I think we're good. And then makeup and hair starts, and that's an interesting experience as well. Basically, like, I was talking to a lot of the girls, and like, it depends on the designer and how much, I guess, they put into the show. But sometimes you could get like a makeup artist who doesn't know how to work with your skin tone or something like that. So there was like a lot of girls who were kind of just like not really happy with their makeup sometimes, or like vice versa, or a lot of girls were like, I want that makeup artist and not the other, or whatever. So hair and makeup took
How did you feel about your makeup?
um honestly, I just think I'm just not used to getting my makeup done by other people, or what it is. I know how I like my makeup done. Honestly, I didn't like it, to be honest, but everyone else said it looked
But like
good.
it's for the show, right?
It's for the show.
It's the look that they want for the show, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm assuming that the designer or the creative director, or whatever it is, picks the makeup artists that are going to be able to give the brand and the clothing the look that they're looking for.
So they went for a natural look. Definitely, like, they did not cake you on with makeup. Like, it was very natural. But for some reason, I don't know, they put a lot of shine, and I felt like I looked like really oily, and but at the end of the day, like, we're all going to be a little insecure about that stuff. It is what it is. Like, overall it turned out really well. But yeah, hair and makeup took, so let's see, we got there at 3:30, from 5:30 to 8:30, about 3 hours hair and makeup took, because there's about like 15 girls that they have to get hair and makeup done for. So that was kind of fun. You just chill and hang out and wait for your hair to get done. So honestly, not a lot going on during that time, just kind of meeting new people and hanging out. So that was cool. And then the show itself is interesting. So every girl has different looks. So I wore 2 specific outfits. There's some girls who wore 1 outfit, some girls who wore 3 outfits. There was one girl who they literally gave her 4 outfits to wear. And because I'm new to
Was this the Asian chick?
No.
17-year-old?
No, not her. It's this, like, she's beautiful, tall, redhead. I'll see if I can find a photo and show you after. But she got 4 she's like 6 foot tall. Like, she got 4 looks, which is really good to get. Obviously, I think the more looks, it just means that they love how the clothing looks on you, and you could portray it in the way they want it to be. But it's so interesting, because as you're walking, so when you get your first look on and you walk the runway and you come back, you have probably 2 minutes to get your other outfit on, and then you're back and walking again. So that little in between is kind of chaotic and scary.
And how long was the show? Like, from start to end, how long was the show?
18 minutes.
What?
Yeah, it's an 18-minute show.
And is there like a pre-show? Or like people show up, they start to show up, it's like half an hour as people show up.
Okay.
Then the show goes on 18 minutes and then people leave.
So this is how it works. For the people who come and attend the show, there's usually like a cocktail lounge and snacks. So there was a big little cocktail, everyone's vibing, all the people in the industry or people who know the brand or people who bought tickets, they mingle, and then there's like a host introduction. So the host will go out and kind of talk about the brand, talk about what's going on. This is a new brand they're bringing on to their store or however. So there's kind of like a little like half an hour introduction. And then they also do like, I think, another hour of like talking or something they do, right, to engage the audience. But everyone's just itching to see the new line of clothing that they're going to drop. Like, even though it's 18 minutes, it's like everyone's just dying to see.
Nobody knows what's coming out.
No, it's like when a new like movie drops or a new TV show drops. Like, you're just itching.
But who are these people?
Okay,
who's going to these shows?
So, for example,
because I've never heard of this brand, right? So, like, what is? I guess we can get into the more like the details, and maybe you don't know, and this is something that you'll start to learn.
I'll start to learn.
But okay, so who's going to them?
Okay, for example, there's like so for a lot of these clothing brands, there's buyers, right? So these buyers will come, and so for example, like Max's store, he actually sells multiple brands at his store. So he doesn't just sell Max's brand; he sells like a little bit of Another Tomorrow. He sells multiple brands at a store. So you have a buyer now who is going to come and say, oh, I want that in my store. I want that in my store. Like, for example, I had a friend who worked at this store called M in Toronto. And when you have a buyer, that person will travel around the world and find pieces that they want to sell in their store, like suppliers or distributors who sell to curators, basically, right? So basically, I overheard a conversation, and as we were walking down the runway, the buyer was sitting beside Max, and she's like, I want that. And the next thing that will come out, I want that bell and I want that bag. And like, she's just talking out loud, and she's just like, I love that. I need that. I want that. Like, it's just like, it's people in the industry, obviously. That's just one person.
And then maybe you don't know the answer to this, but so do these people like actually go and place an order right on the spot for the items and the quantities, and then the designer has to actually manufacture them after?
That's a great question. Like,
because that's what I'm thinking. It's like, okay, so basically you're courting potential buyers at this runway show. And so these guys like the looks, because especially in high fashion, right? Mm-hmm. But even, all right, so high fashion is one thing. Let's stick to high fashion. High fashion, you have people and they come out and the boutique stores place orders for this amount of quantity because they think that that's how much they're going to be able to sell. Mm-hmm. I guess they order it with the designer and then they figure out the logistics on how to manufacture it and like build and actually make the amount of clothes that makes sense.
So this is how I look at it. Like, say Another Tomorrow, like, which I don't know too much about the brand. I would say Another Tomorrow is like a clothing brand and they have their own store and they would manufacture and sell clothing for that store. But they at boutique stores like that will sell multiple brands. Now that's where they can also sell their clothing, right? So you would probably go to that boutique store.
I'm just like a nerd about this, like
the business side of it.
The business side and the actual like planning side, because how much clothes are you going to make? Like you have boutiques that are going to purchase it, you know how much, and then what if they need to order more, right? I guess if the season's over, the season's over.
Yeah. A lot of it's exclusive. Yeah. I mean, this brand specifically, like one of the blazers that were on the was like $1,300. So I mean, like, it's pretty expensive, like, stuff, but I don't know. I think what this is, so it might not be a lot about the selling, but it's about getting your brand out there. So, for example, 2 days before the show, there was a big panel kind of sit down, and they had really big people in the industry come and attend this panel, and they talk about this new brand that's hitting, like, you know, if you were a new brand that's up and coming and, you know, you want to get a spot in like New York Fashion Week or something like that. Like that's what these big brands are trying to do because they're trying to make a name for themselves. Like I mentioned to you guys, like at the panel, the brand that I walked for, like literally the Vogue editor of Mexico, Vogue editor of Latin America was there. Like basically like big influential people in the industry come, and if they can look at your brand and actually say, oh, wow, this is really good, you get recognized. It's networking. It's not only about selling clothes, I think I think Runway is mainly about networking. Like genuinely, like it doesn't even for the models, Runway doesn't actually pay a lot of money. Runway is about like, I've already got like so many connects from just going to that one event. Like, you know, you put your face out there, you kind of have a name now, like, you know, so a lot of it is that. I don't know. Yeah.
Because for example, high fashion runways, you can most likely expect creative directors or whoever it might be from like H&M, Zara, these fast fashion companies. Yeah. Because what they do is instead of saying, I like that, let's put it in the store, they just say, I like that, let's make it.
Let's make something
similar. And then it's going to hit the mass market and people are going to buy this the whole season. Yeah. And then they're going to manufacture like millions of them or however much they historically can sell on like an item type, a blazer, a scarf, a this, a that. And then they're like, okay, make that amount, this is the new style, and that's how they do it.
It's somewhat of a spin-off of it though, because I think a lot of these big brands, like, they're trendsetters, right? Like, if you have like the New York Fashion Week in September this year, right? Like, say this new trend comes out, like, a lot of these H&Ms and Zara's and stuff are going to try to do the spin-off version of that and sell it. But these big brands, I feel like they kind of maybe have the style patented or something. I actually don't know too much about that, but
They do have patents on their style, but obviously these high fashion companies, what they're doing is they're gonna make something that's similar, not exactly
yes, exactly.
the
You
same
can't
thing.
make the exact
You
same
can't make
thing.
but the style is still the same. Maybe a pattern with a slight twist.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't copy Louis Vuitton's monogram, but you can definitely do something similar.
Which
And so that's really interesting. I think for the longevity of what I hope is going to be a long modeling career, you should get in the weeds and that kind of stuff. Like, maybe be the smart
understand
person
a
in the
little bit
room.
more.
Like, maybe some of these models, they're just there. They care about the look. They care about the fashion.
Care about the pay.
They care about the pay, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe a way to, because obviously as a model, you have, your ripe era, right?
Yeah.
After that, you're either doing shots for frickin', I don't know, what is it, JCPenney?
Yeah.
And like your career is dwindles away as you get older because obviously you don't have the look. So I think to
differentiate
yourself, and also if this is something that you're really interested in, and especially if you have a business background and you can understand it, is start asking those questions. Maybe don't ask it like right off the cuff, but just get close to some of these people and then show some genuine interest on that you actually care about the business side of it, like understanding everything. Hey, I'm a model now, but this stuff really interests me as a whole. And so
I want to know how
it
it
works. That would be really interesting if you could do that, because then once you're like, I don't know, 40 and you're not there anymore, then you can transition into something that's more like the curator or the person who books the gigs or does the stuff, or maybe something on the business side of it. So I just literally thought about that, and I think that would be really cool if you could do that.
I think like what I've realized already is when you go to these events and stuff, it's about asking questions, putting yourself out there and saying like, hey, what's your name? Nice to, like, just being a little bit different, because I'm just going to be honest, like, there were some people there that came, they just show up, very like kind of like just quiet, didn't say much, did the thing, and like left right away when the show was done. And like, I stayed back a little later and I met some really cool people, got some really cool feedback. There was actually a girl that came up.
I told you to stay.
No,
you were like, you were come pick me up, and I'm like, no, like you should stay.
And so I'll tell you the first thing. As soon as we walked out, there was this lady that walked up to me and another girl, and she said, I loved you guys are beautiful, gorgeous. She said, I have another show in June and I want you guys to walk for it. She's like, here's my information. Here's my dad. I'm going to reach out to you. Like literally the moment we stepped out into like the mingling little. So it's like, you have to, if you're going to take this seriously, it is important to just like take advantage of these opportunities. And like, not only that, like the host of the show, Max, who's huge in the industry, like we stayed, maybe 3 or 4 of us, of the girls who actually attended the show, like actually stayed and made him like made the party fun, and kind of just showed him that we cared, and like he really appreciated that, and we had a blast. Like honestly, it was so fun. But like those little things, like my agency actually reached out to me today, and she's like, I'm just sending this to the 4 girls who actually stayed back. They go like, thank you so much. Max, like the client, reached out to us and said he wants to personally message you guys and tell you guys how much he appreciated that. And she actually wrote in the email, this doesn't happen often, so we really appreciate that you guys actually stayed.
Yeah, and next time that he's going to do a runway, obviously he's going to want to talk to you guys.
As a joke.
And just to declare this, you are not getting paid for this.
No.
Okay. Just to declare that in case anything ever, you're not getting paid for any of this.
What's
so
funny?
This is specifically just trying to
have fun.
build your modeling career
Yeah.
to hopefully one day be able to do something big.
Yeah, exactly.
But you were going to say.
No, like yeah, it's just a really fun environment. Like, I think, yeah, I genuinely think these runway shows, like, everyone in the industry knows that they don't pay a lot, but it was amazing to just be in. It was really nice clothes. Like, there was not one single outfit, which other girls actually told me when they were there. They're like, sometimes you got to do a gig, you don't even really like the clothes, and it's just kind of like, yeah, you're getting paid, cool. But this was genuinely like really good clothing, and there was not a single outfit that I was like, I wouldn't wear that. And it was just it was really cool.
What about the quality? So this is
yeah.
another side of, the business side of it. How is the stitching, the materials, because I'm a bit of a snob about that kind of stuff because I really like designer. People think, oh, it's a designer brand. It's just about the brand. You're just spending thousands of dollars for a purse that is, it's garbage.
Yeah.
No, actually, when you spend that kind of money on designer brands, you see, if you really look into it, the level of precision and care that they put into their products to make them perfect every single time is
God,
is great.
Yeah, of course.
And that's what distinguishes them. That's how you can tell who's wearing a fake Louis Vuitton bag on the subway. Which, by the way, if you have a Louis Vuitton bag and you're riding the subway, I mean, what are you doing? But
that's a good one.
That's it. I mean, come on, like
true.
You're not convincing anybody. First of all, and second of all, even if it is real, like maybe your priorities need to change.
No, that's not so true. Like
I understand. Listen. I bought
you
Louis
have
Vuitton.
a real Louis.
No, I bought
the
Louis
subway.
Vuitton. I bought all the shit, and I was riding the subway. But maybe I could have bought a car before I did that. I didn't make the best financial decisions when I was a child.
For me, like that statement makes sense if like.
No, there's certain cases. I'm not saying it applies to everyone.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's just a joke. Yeah. But so like back to the point, which is you can tell the difference in the quality. So how is the quality of this?
Okay, so
I'm gonna
be honest. Like I'm not an expert in that area either, but from what I wore, it felt like really good quality. I mean, I don't know too much about those details, and I honestly didn't pay attention to it as much as I probably should have. But honestly, like just from the brand and what the research I've done, like I haven't gone to their store or really like, looked into their clothing as much, but they seem like a pretty reputable brand, like thus far. And they seem like they're actually going to be doing big things. And like, it's kind of cool.
They got the sustainability side.
They have the sustainability side of it, which is like, honestly, like, I know that's like, sounds like a
trendy,
like a trendy woke
thing
to say, but like when you actually look into it, which like do the research, like the fashion industry is insane.
No, if
like
they're doing good work
with how much with how much it affects like
I think all fashion personally, I think all fashion is, if we're really if you really want to be sustainable, and and this has come from me, this is not your opinion.
Yeah, of course.
So if you really want to be sustainable, technically all fashion is bad fashion. Anything that inspires consumerism to buy something new and extract raw materials from the earth, technically that's bad. And listen, I'm not a wokey, I really don't give a shit. Like, honestly, I think people should be able to buy whatever they want. If you want to buy something from Temu or frickin' Alibaba that, they're just making the shittiest garbage to feed a hyper fashion. So there's fast fashion and then there's like hyper fashion, which is like these e-commerce websites that are literally dumping garbage on, or Shein. I think it's They're dumping garbage into the market and people wear it once, they never wear it again, they throw it out.
Yeah.
I personally don't care. I think business is business. Yeah. I think, we should find a way to recycle clothing and find a way to make it more sustainable. I don't care that it exists. Like, it is what it is. But I think that if you're going for the sustainability route, then technically the most sustainable thing to do is thrift your clothes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
It had to come out. It had to come out.
No edits.
It had to come out. These Coors Lights are like, I don't know. I've been trying to hold it in. I saw you earlier too. Like
I was burping, but not in the mic.
No, but then it came out, so I had to do it.
It's all good. It's a human, natural, biological
the next
thing.
one is gonna be this one.
But no, like it's tough. It's really tough. I mean, like, think about life in general. You can look at it in so many aspects, but genuinely, like, if you're a fashion designer and you have a passion for fashion, as cheesy as it sounds, like that's your career, that's something you love to do, like anything in earth, you can talk about how bad it is for the environment, you can talk about whatever, but there's millions of industries right now that are negatively impacting many things. But if you are going to, start something, I mean, if you could try to make the conscious effort to, just be different. I think, like, if you really look into this brand, I think they have a little bit of an edge to them, because they're really, like, they're not only talking, but they're walking the talk as well. Like, I mean, like, I think what I mean is their actions are proving that they're
walking the walk.
They're walking the walk. This White Claw is kicking in a little.
We made eye contact there, and you instantly knew that I was judging, like, that you said that. I say stupid shit too, so
yeah. But no,
yeah, I mean, it's interesting. So I actually saw on their Instagram that they're opening a Vail location soon. So they have Aspen, I think they have Denver, they have Boulder.
If they're in Aspen, it's bougie.
Yeah, I think so. And don't quote me on that. I don't know if it is Aspen, but
either
I
way.
I did see Vail coming soon.
So
there's going to be a shop.
Cool.
There's going to be a shop here.
Yeah, we're in Vail right now, so shout out Vail. But yeah, no, honestly, overall, like, I've heard a lot about the industry, and I'm just starting in it, but, like, I had a 10 out of 10 experience, and, like, can I just say why? Mainly, to be honest, like, I was expecting. Because as a woman, I don't know if men really experience this, but we experience a lot of competition with women and judginess and, like, hate. But the moment I walked in there, I was surrounded by beautiful women, and every single person just, I felt it. Like, it was just, like, very nice. Like, everyone was just genuine and kind and just wanted to talk and have a good time. And, like, there was no, like, judginess or competition. And as a woman, like, you kind of know what that is. You can sense when someone's doing that. But genuinely, everyone was so nice, so down to earth. Like, maybe it's because we're in Denver, and, like, Denver is just, like, a honestly really cool place, really nice people. I don't know what it's like in other parts of the world, but, like, so far I had a really, really, really positive experience.
Imagine doing that in New York.
Yeah.
It would be tough.
No, I know. Honestly,
it would be tough.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, women are very envious of other women.
And I want to know why.
It's a biological thing.
But why is it biological?
Because you want to attract the best male, right? So if there are other women that are better looking than you or more attractive for any other reason, right? Mm-hmm. Then that, takes your chances away of finding the most optimal and the best mating partner, right?
But so for men, it's not. They don't have that. I think it's the
same, like, in a lot of other species. And again, don't quote me on this. I'm not a scientist, but I would think that it also happens in a lot of other species.
What do you mean species?
Of animals or whatever.
Okay, for females.
The women, the females are very aggressive. Sometimes even more aggressive than the males, simply because of that main reason.
I'm not going to deny that.
Like, it's legit. It's legit. And so I think that's one part of it. They just don't like to see other women thrive. Men don't see it that way. Men just kind of see it like, oh, that guy, like, if a guy is, like, super ripped, I'd be like, shit, that guy's fucking jacked, like.
But it's not
but is it,
but is it, do you ever
I don't feel envious. I don't feel envious. I feel, honestly, like, Like,
Okay.
why can't I do that?
I'm gonna be real with you. I just think we're two very confident people. That's not always how men look at it. They, for example, like you might, like if you were like more of a jealous
No,
person,
there's
you
some.
might not think that. You might be more like,
No, I mean jealousy is something else. This is
Yeah.
not about jealousy between relationships. This is more about envy between.
oh, just yourself and someone
Yeah,
else.
envy in some what somebody else has that you don't have.
Yeah,
Jealousy is something completely different.
that's true. You're right.
So
I'm talking
again,
about
like
your one self.
if I look at a guy and he's fucking 6'4", jacked, good looking, and I can appreciate a good looking man, you know, like
Yeah.
I'd be like, holy shit, that guy's slinging pussy. Like that guy is drowning in it. And I'm honestly like, I'm like, good for him. Good for him. I wish.
Yeah.
Like I wish
Okay.
I was that fucking huge or that tall or
Yeah.
whatever. But I don't see it and be like, yo, fuck that guy.
No, okay.
Fuck that guy for some guys do think like that.
Some
I'm not
guys
saying
do.
it's generally this is a general statement. There's definitely guys out there that have a lot of self-conscious that are very self-conscious
Yeah.
and think the way some women think.
Okay, so it goes both ways.
It goes both ways, but I feel like, and I think
Women are worse.
most of the men maybe hearing this or that you talk to agree with my statement that none of the men are trying to put down men.
That's true.
Men don't put down men.
You don't ever really
You just
hear of a
honestly
men putting down.
admire. It might be a fatherly thing. Like
True.
your dad, when you grow up, your dad is this, you know, this superhero, right? So you aspire to be like your dad, right? You wish you could be like your dad. My dad's so cool. He does this. He does that. In most of the cases, I mean, in some cases, people
It's
don't
not,
grow up with
yeah.
dads or they're shit dads. But
Yeah.
in a general context, you grow up and you admire your dad. So I think there's something there. There's like some connection between that father-son instinct or that son-father instinct that also applies to just men in general, where instead of looking at your dad and being like, yo, why the fuck does my dad have that shit and I don't have it?
It's
And then going back to the other guys, you look at other guys and be like, and you're like, oh, that shit is sick. Like, that's sick. Like, I wish I could be like that.
yeah.
And you want to aspire to do that instead of trying to figure out ways
Okay.
as to why this guy fucking sucks.
Yeah, but like what about a girl? Like if we grow up with a really like amazing mom figure.
Your mom has friends. And psychologically, you are noticing that your mom's friends also have that like tinge of envy and I think women are just toxic that way. Women are just toxic that way. Generally, not all
You know
of them.
what? You know
But
what?
I think
It's a societal thing. It has to be because like
it's not it's
no,
a
because I'm not like that. Like but I had to almost train myself to get past a lot of these stupid ideologies of like, women hate women, or like I don't know if it's just maybe it's just a big city thing. Like I mean in Toronto, like I know a lot of girls can relate to the fact that like it's just there's always like this judgy vibe, or like and it's never like a woman support woman, which slowly as I think I get older, I'm starting to surround myself with women like that who actually genuinely support you because they like you and it's not jealous. But I've had friends in the past who I'm like, it's so fake, or like I know you don't actually like support me, so I don't know.
I might have to retract my statement because now
Yeah.
that you spoke about Toronto, I think
Big city thing.
you attract whatever you dish out. So
Yeah.
in Toronto, if I were to see good-looking guy, wealthy, he's got a booth, he's got people like a bunch of chicks with him, I look at that guy and I might think that guy's a douchebag,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And then if I come and I talk to him and I get to know him and he's actually a douchebag, then I'm like, fuck this guy. But if he's actually a nice guy, my mood changes completely. I don't know if you remember when we were in Miami and your friend, I'm not going to say her name, but your friend was looking at this guy
Yeah.
and he was seeing this other chick and he turned the corner and he looked kind of like a douchebag guy. Like
He was actually
my impression
nice
was I don't like this guy. And then I talked to him. I'm like, this is a nice guy. I like this guy.
I remember the situation. We're not going to name names, but he actually turned out to be a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
Like he was on a date.
Besides the fact that
No.
it wasn't even
it
a
was
girlfriend.
a stand-up guy.
It wasn't even a girlfriend.
Forget it,
yeah.
Jose. Girlfriend or not, he was on a first or second date with this girl.
No, I mean, if he had a girlfriend and he was considering going out,
it wasn't though. He
exactly. So
he
that
was
would be a
honest.
different situation. But he was just on a first date, so it doesn't matter, right?
He was on a first date or second date, whatever. But he was a stand-up guy because he was like, honestly, like, I think your friend is really cute, but I am on a first date. And the way he described it was just kind of like, okay, honestly, thank you for being a decent human instead of like screwing that girl who you're on a date with and like running off with some other girl. Like, no, good for you. Like, that's actually a good quality in a guy. And he was a nice guy.
He still got her number, though.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't get her number.
No. You know why? Because I told them, I said.
Yeah, but he didn't.
No, because because it was a little too much of a little bitch.
He's not a bitch. He's doing the right thing, Jose. Like, if you're on a date with a first girl and you find another girl cute, be a strong man and date this girl, move on. Or you're going to leave that girl?
No, if it's a first date, I don't think he has any.
Let's preface this for the people listening.
If he has a first date, he has no obligation to this girl at all.
Oh, who knows? It was a first date.
It was a first date. It was a first or second date.
Okay, well, let's let the people understand. So hypothetically,
we came up to him. He didn't come up to us. We came up to him.
Yes, we were like attacking the man.
Yeah, and said, this girl likes you, thinks you're cute. Would you give her her number? And the guy's like, yeah. He actually literally said, like, yeah, I would totally give her a number. You know what I told him? I said,
that's where
you
messed up.
Be a man and give her your number. No, and he went and talked to her. He didn't even do it because he was nervous, not because he didn't want to do it.
He was a little nervous.
He was nervous.
Yeah, because what's funny,
and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If he's on a first date and some girl actually comes up to him and says, "Hey, I think you're cute," goddamn, take her number.
Yeah, you're on a first date.
You're on a first date. You know what? Maybe this is a better match for you. As long as once you start to commit, you decide to split off, then that's fine.
You're right. It's a first date.
So I think you had it wrong. He actually just didn't have the balls to.
No, he was he was nervous.
Even though I literally told him she would.
What?
She would. No, I'm not going to say anything crazy. No,
excuse me.
No, I said she would text you like right away. Like like she's into you. Like there's no question about it. Just all you have to do is give her your number, and that's it. So it's kind of a fun thing.
It was interesting.
So again, back to the topic. The topic was that I thought he could be a kind of a douchebaggy guy. He looked like it. Maybe that was me judging.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
But you know what? So that's the difference, I think. So I retract my original statement that men don't look at other men and think that they're, or try to find flaws in them. I feel like a woman would meet another woman. She might be nice, although I don't think generally they're very nice to each other. Sometimes they're very fake to each other.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean.
So if the lady or the woman is actually nice, you might still find reasons as to why you don't like her.
From woman to woman?
Woman to woman.
Well, you know what it is? Like, I think as you get older, you just realize, I mean, it's like anything in life. Like, you kind of have to really get to know someone to get to know someone. Like, even though last night I met some really cool girls. I mean, they seemed amazing and, just we kind of clicked and it was really cool and fun. You never know. You never know, like, who anyone really is until you get to know them. But as I'm older, I feel like I have a good radar with this stuff and I'm getting better. You kind of just tell by certain comments and things that people make. You can kind of tell who they are. But yeah, women are interesting. I just think, just for me personally, and I would love to hear from other people. Honestly, we need to get some women from all over the world and ask them how it is, because I know from where I grew up and the culture that I grew up in, it was just a lot of jealousy and hate towards other women. And I'm like, why?
Toronto's just toxic in general.
I don't know if it's. I don't want to say
It's a
that
big
because
city
I
thing.
love Toronto.
I think it's a
too.
big city thing.
But like, yeah, I would like to hear people from New York or Miami. Like, I would like to hear.
No, definitely.
And yeah, honestly, like I have a cousin who lives in Miami, and yeah, she might say the same thing. You know.
It's a big city thing.
Yeah.
You're not gonna find that in El Paso. Like women aren't gonna do that. Although some of these Mexican women are freaking
even
a little feisty.
even Mexican women are definitely feisty. It's
Latinas.
a culture.
It's a
Latino. It's a
thing.
Latina thing. But Denver so far, genuinely, everyone's been like really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Denver's awesome. Denver's
is pretty cool.
Really nice. Like I'm a coffee freak, and I actually think like Denver's got the best coffee.
No,
It's got the best coffee. Where has the
they
best
have coffee shops,
Well,
but they don't make the coffee, Jen.
what do
they
you
have
mean?
good coffees.
A lot of these places actually are
Roasting?
roasters. What do you mean?
Where are the beans from?
In Cincinnati. Okay, that's not
The
Denver.
beans are not coming from Denver.
No.
There you go.
Well,
So it's not the best coffee.
So what? Ethiopia has the best coffee. Like, you think they make the best coffee, or they grow the beans and then sell it to distributors to
I'm sure if you went to Ethiopia and had some coffee in Ethiopia, it would be bomb. They're not making macchiatos. They're not making cappuccinos.
No.
They're not making a flat white. They're just making coffee, and it's bomb. It's from the source, and it's the best.
No.
They roast it, and it's great. I'm not saying.
I'm not
saying
denying it.
I don't personally like Ethiopian coffee. I'm sorry, but
What have you had?
I've had it.
And you don't like it?
Yeah, it's a little dark.
What I'm saying is that's a huge source of coffee. A lot of people get it from Ethiopia or where else is coffee from?
Well, Colombia.
Colombia. Okay, I don't know why I said Ethiopia, but I know people get coffee from Ethiopia.
No, Ethiopia, Turkey. I think Arabica.
Arabica is.
It might be like Turkey area.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We gotta do some research on that.
That's like me.
No, but what I want to
stretching.
say, Jose, is I think there's a science to roasting. There's a science to actually making the coffee, which I'm going to be so honest. Dark roast coffee is complete asshole. Like
Yeah, it's garbage.
It's horrible. It's burnt.
They're just burning the beans.
If anyone will please sit down and have a black Starbucks coffee and tell me that doesn't taste like asshole.
Starbucks coffee is not.
No. If you're a coffee connoisseur, you need to enjoy a black cup of coffee. Screw the milk, the sugar, and everything else that makes it taste nice. Have a black cup of coffee somewhere, and if you cannot enjoy it, it's not a good coffee shop. Genuinely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that's my little blurb.
I don't have coffee anymore, but when I was drinking coffee, I was drinking it black, and
so why
Starbucks is garbage.
Why did you stop drinking coffee, Jose?
Oh, just anxiety.
Oh.
Caffeine is bad for anxiety.
It's interesting. Because,
I think my anxiety levels drastically reduced when I stopped having caffeinated products.
I think actually as well.
Like I don't have anything. Like I don't have any caffeine ever. I don't even drink pop because I don't want caffeine from the pop.
Yeah.
So ever since I made that change, which was mainly for a health thing, that my blood pressure. So ever since I made that change, my anxiety levels are far lower. Mm-hmm. So coffee also would, specifically black coffee, would, and I love black coffee. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, you do. That's why I got into it.
So, the coffee itself is very acidic, and it causes your stomach, and your stomach is very closely connected to your mind. So when you're nauseous, you feel it, in your head, right?
Yeah.
Even though it's actually coming from your stomach, and so many other intestinal? It's not intestinal. It's like, I don't know if it's gastrointestinal, but whatever. There's some serious connections between your stomach and your brain.
Yeah.
And I would have some black coffee, and I think the acidity really got to my stomach and would really upset it, and that would produce me to feel more anxious. And in addition to the caffeine, which is also, anxiety provoking. And so I stopped drinking I stopped drinking coffee at first because I thought, okay, it must be the acidity. and then I started drinking like Celsius and like
Yeah.
energy drinks. Not like crazy amount. Like I wouldn't have a full one. I'd have like
Yeah.
half of one. You know, knowing that more caffeine is also not good.
Yeah.
But it also, you know, it still produced certain, you know, anxieties. And then when I had the blood pressure thing where I had to figure out how to lower my blood pressure, caffeine was like number one.
Yeah.
And
it actually helped.
It helped immediately.
Like immediately.
And
So that's
I stopped drinking all caffeine, and I love Diet Coke. I love coffee. I love Diet Coke. Celsius are great.
Okay.
You know, there was a period of time where, you know, you're tired. It's like the end of the day, or maybe you need to do something at night.
Yeah.
And you know, you're tired, and it's so easy to just say, I'm just gonna have a coffee. I'm gonna have an energy drink. I can't do that.
You can't do
and
that.
you just got to fight through it. And so now I wake up, I don't even crave coffee.
No.
I just wake up and I'm awake. Like, it's really interesting.
It's
like,
good.
for a lot of people, they wake up and they're like, I have to have coffee. And I know what it feels to feel that. So now I wake up and I just wake up. Like, obviously, it takes a little bit of time
to get out.
But by the time I'm out the door, I'm my normal self. Like, I'm not expecting a boost.
It's a habit. It's kind of an addiction. Like, you know, your body might not need it, but because you've done it for a long period of time, you feel like you need it even though you don't. And I think you've just trained your body now to not feel that sensation of needing it. But I have a question then. Okay, so if you like coffee so much and like the Diet Coke, do you like caffeine or do you like the actual taste?
I like the taste of the stuff.
Okay, so then would you have decaf?
Ooh, I haven't tried it.
Decaf coffee.
I haven't tried decaf coffee, to be honest. That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
It's a nice thing.
I still think I wouldn't like the acidity of the coffee. Like, maybe the acidity thing is still a thing that would trigger some sort of anxiety.
What is decaf coffee? Like, how do you make a coffee decaf?
I don't think it's good. I don't think it's a good process.
Yeah, I would like to know that. That's pretty interesting.
I don't think,
like decaf anything.
There
definitely still caffeine in there.
If you are, no, there isn't, because you can test for it. But if you are chemically, or who knows how they're doing it, removing the caffeine from something that naturally has caffeine can't be a good process.
True.
It can't be.
It must be. That's a really interesting thing to look into.
It can't be good. But maybe that's just me putting my tinfoil hat on, you know. Like,
yeah.
Maybe it's fine. I don't know about the process. Maybe I need to be educated on it. But that's a good point. Maybe I will try decaf. Like, I love espresso martinis. Ooh. So maybe in the future I will have an espresso martini.
How about you tell us about your decaf espresso you made for Mrs. Jennifer Lopez?
Oh, yeah. So when
the story is great.
No, well, basically I used to work at a restaurant on King Street in Toronto, and it was always a host for TIFF, so the Toronto International Film Festival. And one year that I was working there, we hosted some interviews for actors. You know, I saw Matt Damon. I think I saw some other people, but I can't quite remember. They were probably not that big. But Jennifer Lopez came, and I actually, I'll say this after I finish the story. So she came in. I didn't actually see her because she has ways of figuring that out. But she had three people who came down, like 3 assistants, just to get her a coffee. And she's like, we need a decaf cappuccino, because she doesn't drink, and she only eats drinks decaf. Probably why she looks the way she looks.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And so here I am, like, guys, like, I don't know what to tell you.
No, not a decaf cappuccino, decaf espresso.
No, decaf cappuccino
with
or latte.
What kind of milk?
Okay, so we had another technical difficulty. This time the camera overheated, and I will never use that camera again. We're back to using an iPhone, which is, I think, better. But hopefully we can wrap this podcast up. We were talking about Jennifer Lopez ordering a cappuccino and you ask me what kind of milk does she use? Well, does she want? I think she wanted like some special milk, like some oat milk or something. And honestly, we didn't have it.
Yeah.
So I told them we don't have that, and I think they sent actually one of her assistants to go buy the oat milk. And so these like 2-3 guys were literally. I told them, I said, our decaf coffee, because the decaf espresso at that establishment was honestly garbage. Like, I had been complaining about it for a while because I love coffee. And so I told them, the decaf espresso is garbage. It's trash.
Wow.
It's like, no, just make it, whatever. And then I make it, and they're like, oh, shit, that's trash. I'm like, guys, I told you. And they're like, whatever, it'll do. And so they go and take this espresso, and like, I froth the milk, I think, and they hand it over to her.
Okay.
So that was my Jennifer Lopez experience. Like, I didn't actually see her.
Yeah,
I just met all of her cronies. And so what was really interesting is that I think last week I was on TikTok or something, and I watched a video of this guy also telling his story of how he had to deal with Jennifer Lopez. And he said the exact same thing. He said, like, and just by the way, like, if you ever have to deal with Jennifer Lopez, just know you're never actually going to meet her. Oh, he said this. It was a theater. He worked at a movie theater. And she specifically wanted to come in to watch a movie. Any other celebrity, he said, would come in, watch the movie, no problem.
Yeah.
They would just tell them that this person's coming in, and, they would be extra security and whatnot, but nothing different besides that. And he said apparently she wanted to come and watch a movie, and it was a big deal because she wanted to rent out the whole movie. And apparently, and this is this guy saying it, I'm not sure, apparently she only wanted to pay for her seat. Like, she didn't want to book the whole theater. She wanted the theater for herself, but she didn't want to pay for the whole theater.
Oh, God.
I don't know how real this is, but... and so that started off with that, and then
she wanted a coffee.
There was some prepping. No, there was some prepping for it. So she said she could not be seen coming into the theater. That she had to come in through the back entrance. But the back entrance is where they throw out the garbage. So her assistants literally came in and saw the back entrance, like, no, this is not going to do. Like, Jennifer Lopez is not going to look at this disgusting mess. So apparently they had to clean, scrub the back entrance just so that when she came in, she didn't feel like really? Third world. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's...
And then she came in, and apparently, so the whole time he said, when you deal with Jennifer Lopez, you don't deal with her. You don't even see her. Like, they literally made them turn around and not look at her.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Which, by the way, at the restaurant that I worked at, they also said when Matt Damon was coming in, and they said,
don't
look.
Yeah.
Just do your thing. Just look away.
Because you don't want to make them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. But I mean, they're stars, right? And I don't know. I agree.
Okay, think about it. So I was about to say, I was with Jennifer Lopez, at that caliber of fame, you probably deal with a lot of shit. And, maybe there's a part of you that just kind of wants to live. I know that doesn't
No, she's not living normal.
But
the guy said other celebrities would come in and watch movies, and they would, big celebrities.
So she's just a little special.
She's just a little special. Her team is a little special. And so I resonated with that because I'm like, holy shit, that's literally the experience that I had. You don't see her. Her assistants come in, and they ask you for all this shit, and they're super demanding. And... that was the experience.
I think that's pretty wild. At least you almost got close.
Well, I got close to a couple of celebrities. I mean, it's pretty cool. It's nice. They told me not to look at Matt Damon, and I'm like, fuck that. I'm looking the guy's short.
Yeah, he's short,
he's a short
right?
guy.
He's pretty short. He's like
But
Tom
apparently
Cruise.
he's a very nice guy. So this was just the restaurant's policy.
They
were
because
just
they want to try to keep it professional.
Yeah, they're keeping it professional. This might be one of those things, but little do. Oh, people are just yelling.
Random
I think people are getting fucked up already.
Screaming.
Do you see them?
Yeah, I can see them.
Are they fucked up?
I don't know. I saw like a joint passed around or something.
Well, it's just
We're
just
in
as a
Colorado on
we're in
420.
Colorado 420 at a ski mountain. I mean, it doesn't get more fucking. It's gonna get crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna get wild.
So
we're gonna go check out the town.
Yeah,
kind of see what's
check it
up.
out.
It's the last ski resort of this. Last
Tomorrow's the last day of skiing. Today's the last Saturday of the season.
For the season. Apparently it gets wild here, and people go a little crazy, and it happens to be 420, so we're going to go see what's going on.
Yeah. Tomorrow there's apparently it's tradition for everybody to go up this one lift and meet up at this one area where actually 3 lifts converge.
Yeah.
And people just get fucked up,
yeah,
wrecked, and then they
ski down.
They all ski down at the same time.
That sounds fun.
And before they do that, some people do like tricks.
I'm sure everyone goes slow, and it's kind of nice. I'm sure.
I mean, if you have at least 200 people down and you're going down the same hill,
you gotta go slow.
That's scary as fuck.
No, but like, okay, so it's like when you go like boating in Muskoka or boating on a lake on a big time, like it was like Canada Day in Canada, and we went boating in Muskoka, and there was like 500 boats, and everyone leaves at the same time. I was actually shitting myself, but it somehow works.
Yeah, it's similar. I think skiing is a little different because a boat is a boat. Like, you're gonna hit a boat. A ski is like you're gonna hit somebody direct.
A boat? I'm not fucking hitting a boat either. But either way, it'll work out.
A boat's like a car.
It sounds really cool. So my ski instructor today literally said, come to the top of the ski lift. There's like there's a couple bars, a couple patios. Like, he said 2,000 people, which seems like a lot of fucking people. That's too much people. I think he was over exaggerating. But he said there's a shit ton of people that go up for the season finale, and they get wasted, they get wild. Crazy. There's some security and police officers up there and stuff. So it'll be fun. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Maybe we'll catch some footage.
Yeah, so hopefully by the time this posts, I will have posted a kind of mini video on Juarez and El Paso, relating to one of the conversations that we had in our last podcast.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be able to post a similar style video of our time here in Vail. So
yeah. The one like for Mexico is kind of just like an insight of, we talked about
Juarez and it being dangerous.
And working in Mexico. Yeah. So it's a really cool little kind of vlog of like what actually happens day to day. And it's pretty badass, like crossing the border every day and just seeing.
Is it badass?
Oh, you're like,
it's not badass. No, it's badass when people are like, holy shit, like you work in Juarez.
Yeah, no, it's like, it's
but
like,
it's really not that badass. It's actually very
badass, but
it's
cool.
It's pretty chill.
It's different.
Just fun.
What I mean is like, it's like, what I mean by badass is like that's
not a lot of people work in live and work in 2 different countries. Being when we first got this gig, it was interesting. Now it's kind of like, it's a little tough. Like I don't personally love crossing the border. Like I don't
it's not easy.
It's a whole thing, but it's still interesting, and I like the 2 cultures and being able to have the best of both worlds. Mm-hmm. But just kind of, I think it's an interesting video for a lot of people who don't know how it is. And also there's a lot of talk about El Paso and the migrant crisis and this and whatnot. So I think it's interesting for people who don't really know what the place looks like or, what to expect, especially our friends that, we tell them about it, but they don't really see it. I think it's going to be interesting for them to see it. And
I mean, the migrant crisis is huge right now. Even my ski lift instructor today heard I was from El Paso, and he was like, how's the migrant crisis going down there? So it's like, it's pretty heavy in the news right now.
It's ramped up recently, actually.
It would be pretty interesting to see.
I've seen a lot more people at the gate by the port of entry, like trying to get across.
Yeah.
A lot more recently than in past
couple weeks. Yeah.
So I don't know why it's ramping up, but it is, and just interesting.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
I thought this was cool, little insight here.
Yeah. Well, I think it's cool for us to do a podcast somewhere else.
Yeah.
I think doing destination podcasts might be something that we might be able to do.
Incorporate.
And hopefully one day be able to bring in new people, Maybe even people we get off the street. Who knows? Well, not off the street. I mean,
just some
people.
cool peeps.
Cool
Yeah?
peeps. But,
All right.
yeah.
Signing off.
Signing
From
off,
the,
guys.
No Edits podcast.
No
here.
Edits number 4. Hope you guys enjoy.
See y'all
Don't
later.
forget to fucking subscribe to the actual YouTube.
Yeah.
Because that's important. That's where we're going to get all the videos. That's where the podcast is.
Like, comment,
we know
share.
you love the TikTok, but please just subscribe to the YouTube. That way we know who's actually interested, and hopefully we can build
But the TikTok's pretty cool.
Oh, the
Check
TikTok
it out as well.
Yeah, who knows if it'll get banned, but the TikTok is actually...
Why?
Oh, well, the U.S. government is like...
Oh, you mean TikTok in general?
TikTok in general.
Yeah, hopefully not. I don't know.
We'll see.
That'd be pretty shitty, but yeah.
We'll see.
All right.
Anyways, peace out from Vail, guys.
Bye.
Peace.